So I restarted because I didn't record correctly the first time. So let's start at the sample scene. The sample scene is the cafe scene. So you have a sprite and you just control with WSD or arrows to go left, right, or jump. And when you come in contact with the NPC box collider, it's set to trigger this visual cue. You press the interact key, which is E. It's mapped to E. A question comes up. There's a question text, and these are the answers, which are basically contained in this quiz UI, this choice container. They're basically just clones of choice button prefab, which is a prefab I made here and I dragged and then I deleted from the scene. So it's just called by the script, and the script quiz manager basically clones it and puts the text from the ink.json file. And after you picked an answer, it shows you the answer text. We also made some menus. We made the pause menu, which is just you can click resume to resume the scene where you were, or double click ESC or escape, or go to menu. We have options for volume. We also have a start that basically takes you back to this scene, to the cafe scene. We have exit here, which quits the application, like you'd think it would, and quit here, which also quits the application. Okay, so the scripts, assets, scripts. Let's start with player movement. Player movement just maps keyboard inputs with booleans and conditionals to make sure that everything is working as you can expect it to work, and also gives us this run speed, so when you go left or right you have some acceleration going on. And we have these jump falls to make sure that jumping works correctly. It doesn't just double jump when you just press once, or it doesn't keep just jumping on end. Addendum. So this is horizontal move, just amplified with the run speed, so we go at that speed because this is just to get axis raw, so we get +1 or -1. And this is just multiplies it with run speed, which is 40f, so we go the 40 or -40f. It doesn't really matter if it's 40 or -40 because we at least for the graphic component, because we just flip the sprite here. Yeah, we flip this. We say that facing right is the same as facing left, so it doesn't matter if it's -1 when it faces left or +1 when right. It uses the same sprite image. Use flip, and we put jump first. If the user presses jump, this is input get button jump, which is bound to space and W or up arrow. Jump is true to make sure that we keep track of it. This is the boolean that was initialized as false, and then we make it false on fixed update. The jump to loop in on itself to constantly just keep jumping after you jumped once. These are just to prevent that. Okay, so character controller actually handles the physics of our sprite, the jump force, how far we jump in the air, or vertically I should say. And these are just grounded radius, ceiling radius. These are to make sure that if we collide with some colliders on the scene, we don't go through them. And these are sandals, just the ceiling and ground check. If we're on ground, we need to know to make sure what is ground, so we can actually jump. And we also have air control, but we haven't implemented error control into the game, into Unity, and this is just to make sure. Multiplies it with -1. So if so -1 when facing left becomes 1, like facing right. So it works seamlessly. Left and right work seamlessly. Okay. These are just the pause menu and the main menu. Pause menu just uses escape, watches out if the user presses escape basically, and either resumes or pauses. If we're already paused, because we have a game is paused for status of the game, if we're in the pause menu already or not. So if we're already paused, if game pause is true, then we click resume, so we can double press ESC to come back to the scene. You don't have to click resume necessarily, and this one just pauses it because we're not in pause, we're in a scene, and if we click ESC we actually should be able to see the pause menu. So it actually pauses because it calls this method here, pause, calls this method here. So it sets pause menu to true, timescale to 0f, and game is paused true because we're in the pause menu now, and loads the menu with the pause. And this one resume, if we double click, double press ESC or escape, I should say escape, yeah, but it's bound to ESC in the input manager. We come back to the sample scene because that's where we use the pause menu, that's the play scene. And we also have a button for load menu. We have a menu button. It's in the pause menu we have a menu button. It's the second one in the column, and it takes us to the main menu scene. It takes us to the quit game. Just if we actually click quit or exit, it actually quits the application, and if we're in the Unity editor like we are now here, it also quits. Main menu is just the main menu scene. If we click play or play game, because it's assigned in Unity to play game, the button to start is bound to play game as a function. We actually load the sample scene, the cafe scene, and if we press quit, the Unity editor knows to quit and the application knows to quit. Okay, so we have two more scripts. Quiz trigger, which handles the visual cue. The visual cue is only visible when we're in the box collider range of the trigger for the NPC. Visible there. Yeah, we're in range, we're not in range. And you press interact and so forth. So this one mostly handles that, but it also has a bit of overlap with the quiz manager. So it locks our input and shows us the quiz UI. There's a bit of overlap. So it also has those same functions we took from the pause menu script. We put them here, so we'd be able to just bring up the menu to resume, pause, quit. So like I said, it locks the input, it takes the text from the inc JSON and shows us the quiz UI because it's unchecked. It's only checked by the script, so it's invisible unless the script lets it be visible with the set active. Display next. This one just this script is the overlap with the quiz manager. It clones the choice button prefab, puts the text in the choice button prefab and the question text basically by trimming. It takes one line basically, so it looks where the line ends and trims the text just for that line. it takes it from the JSON, but it's not user readable because Unity doesn't read Markdown. The JSON is just basically the Markdown translated into JSON. So yeah, it looks where the end of line is, and that's where it trims the text. Both the question and the answer. And the answers are put in the choice button prefab, which is just cloned for how many times we need. This is just an allocation for the first button to make sure that we have a button when we first run the script, and the Unity doesn't return us with some error that first button is null or something. So we don't have a button. It actually has one. And this is just the if for when the story ends. We have no more choices. Story cannot continue because it's different. Different story cannot continue. So false. Story finished, ending quiz. This one just clears choices. These are just the choice index for ending quiz. Yeah, with resume, pause, and so forth. Okay, so we also have quiz manager. Quiz manager is mostly supposed to handle the actual quiz process. So it takes text from the in JSON and displays next. It goes on to this method. So if we have 0 or more choices, it again takes the text, trims it, and puts it in the button. It also shows us the question text from the in JSON. We have an on-click add listener to make sure that we know what the user picked when they click on the button or an answer. We also have this to make sure that we don't have an error with the button again. If the story cannot continue, different to story can continue, quiz complete, choice selected. It makes sure to check if it's correct or not. We also have correct in the Markdown. Correct is false. For every question we initialize it for every question to make sure that between questions it's still false, so it doesn't stay true if the user picks this one, correct is true, and then goes to the question 3 to make sure that the correct goes back to being false. And if the user picks the wrong answer, so correct is not true, correct is false, he's timed out and this text is shown. And we also put the resume, pause, load menu, quit to link up all the scene with scene management. So the scenes all work seamlessly. The quiz trigger just shows us the visual cue. We press interact. Quiz manager shows us the questions and clones the choice button prefab here that the script calls. Pick the answer. Question text becomes the answer you picked. That's it.